How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Coffee and Critique. Today we have a really awesome guest. We have Joe Salvatore Fucarino, and that's when you just cue in the claps.
Cue in the claps. Cue in the claps.
Cue in the claps.
We got Ray Suarez in the building.
Ray Suarez is our first live guest in the audience. But yeah, how's it going, Joe?
Good, man. It feels weird to be like the B mic on a pod with you. Feels weird.
The B mic.
It just feels weird, man.
It does feel weird, like getting interviewed. It's weird when I get interviewed.
Yeah, I interview this guy daily. Stay trying to find out the mind of Zain.
But yeah, now today is I'm trying to find out what your process is in terms of like how do you get out of your creative block, because you're always moving and like just creating. So do you ever fall into like I can't create anymore, or I don't know what to do? Like how do you kind of stimulate that?
My mind is always in a million places, so I feel like that doesn't really turn off too much. What turns off is the comfortability to like kind of work sometimes, you know, because like I have a bad back, so sometimes sitting certain places I have to find like kind of my comfort zone or where I'm not gonna get distracted. But once I'm like in my comfort zone, not at all. Like I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah.
But how do you get out?
I don't.
You don't?
Like no. I don't get out of that.
You never been stumped before?
Yeah, I mean, I get stumped. What do you mean? What do you mean by stumped?
Like I'm about to create a story, and my story entails a lot of characters and their background stories, and sometimes I realize that being different characters can be very challenging, and then sometimes I have to step away and think about each character individually and then come back to it. And most of the times I'd be taking very long breaks to kind of get inspired or maybe watch some things to get my mind off it. So is that the same issue that because you're writing scripts, you're doing shows, you're doing podcasts, you're managing this, you're doing creative marketing for this, you're doing websites for that. Like,
yeah,
just
I mean, I feel like I do a lot of things in very, very small steps. So where like I'm thinking about those stories even when I'm out for like a walk. Like when I'm walking Princess outside, I'm thinking about this shit. Like I'm doing the script in my head.
Okay.
So like it's constantly kind of revolving even when I'm not really doing it. And I think that's kind of what helps. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be thinking about the script throughout the day, even if I'm not writing it. So when it comes to write it, you know, like I kind of just piece by piece, I have all these different things in my head, and I kind of just randomly will scatter my thoughts around all those different things. Yeah. Like for instance, the project, the I was talking to you about the watch and the phone, that project, right? So that project, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I can't say much to give up.
I know.
But you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So for instance, since I've had the idea of it, it's in the back of my mind. Okay. And I'm just thinking about it. Like I was randomly thinking about it before. I just happened to look at my watch and I was like, and I just started thinking about it. So I just kind of, it's always in the back of my head, if that makes any sense. So then when it comes time to usually put it to paper, it's usually just kind of all there. It's like almost just randomly keep taking notes throughout the day.
So you like, never get creative blocks?
I don't, I'm gonna be honest, it might sound crazy, but I don't really feel like I get too many of them.
No, I
get comfort blocks. I get uncomfortable in, like I said, in the work setting.
Okay,
that's the most. But I don't get like a creative block where I can't think of like a storyline.
So it's more so your block, if I got this right, is actually getting it done.
Yeah, like I said, more like
it's not even like the creative. Like you got the creative ideas coming out. It's a matter of actually finishing that project in completion, because sometimes it's like
yeah, or just like different, like I said, different scenarios, you know, like I'm really weird. Like sometimes I'll get shit done over there. I'll be sitting down in front of the TV and I'll get stuff done, but then sometimes my back is killing me. So I'm like, damn, okay, I gotta stop. And I don't even want to stop. But then I'm like, all right, well, let me switch it up. Let me bring the laptop while I'm on the bed laying down. and then I'm cool, I'm working, but then I'm like, oh fuck, all right, my back is bothering me, let me go for a walk, and then I stop because I have to go for the walk.
Got it.
So it's usually because of discomfort, you know, to be honest with you. Really, it's kind of funny because, you know, like once I got that recliner chair, I was like, oh shit, I'm never gonna stop now.
Yeah,
because that was more of a comfort thing for me. That's really.
Do you still sit in there? I don't see you sitting there no more.
Not as much, just because of how we have the room set up.
That phantom chair that moves everywhere.
Yeah, it just keeps moving.
It never came back, by the way.
It might.
I hope it does.
It might. But yeah, I don't really think I get too many creative blocks. I get comfort blocks. That's really the best way, because creatively I feel like I'm always like kind of thinking in my head and just different random stuff, like different random creations are kind of just coming, you know. As far as like different characters and whatnot, same thing. I'm always just thinking of different and I'm pulling from a lot of stuff, man, that like, you got to remember, like I've recently just started getting back into everything creatively, you know, like since like 2016, but I've always been like a creative mind for years, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling from stuff that I was tweaking in my head 30 years, not, you know, 25 years ago, 23 years ago, like the watch thing. Yo, I'm pulling from something that I did when I was 10 or 11 years old.
Okay.
And now I'm just adding fire now and age to it.
So you find that a little easier?
Yeah.
Because I have ideas that I've written down years ago. We're talking like from middle school.
Yeah.
And the ideas that I had were very mature for that particular age, and most of it is like obviously action packed. And I feel like bringing that to existence now is a problem. Like for the
why
world.
not? But that's what I'm saying. I feel like we should. You know what I'm saying? I don't see why not. Like I said, this project that we both know, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, why not? You know, I played with the idea many years ago. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, the release of something inspired me to like get on it. So there's so much stuff like that. Like I've been always a creative kind of mind, and my mind is always in a million places, man. And when it comes to, like you said, with characters and story building, I feel like I have many different sides of me, you know, too. So I'll use those things, you know, in different characters. I'll do multiple different versions of me or different versions of friends. That's kind of how I work. I work it on, you know what I'm saying? Like if you really read it, and I could basically tell you like, oh, that's a little bit of this, that's a little bit of that, you know, like I've been through a lot in my life. So I even use certain experiences, you know, and everything that we're writing. Even the podcast, you see a lot of times the topics we just kind of create from our own lives.
Yeah, I mean, is that not the best approach to come up with stuff? Most of the stuff that I've been coming up with lately, it's not even me. It's just it be coming from people, and they actually reach out to me and tell me like, what's this topic? Or I'll have people post funny ass memes, and I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds like a great topic. Like the one with like I think it was the
toxic trait
and whatnot. That was someone did a random post, and I was like, no, I'm gonna post this in the group because I feel like that's definitely like, well, toxic friends, toxic family, like those people. I feel like we definitely gotta talk about that, because I feel like those people are stuck, especially in the quarantine time, to kind of figure out how to get out from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we need a cheat code to get out. Like I stay creative and I play video games. Like I'll have an escape in like the game realm, and then I'll be back in reality. So I have little ways of escaping. And some people, they're just trapped. Like all they do is talk to people, and then the only person they could talk to is toxic.
Yeah, be like that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Like now I have to indulge in this toxicity instead of actually branching out to talk to different people. But I might not know that they're toxic. You know? So I feel like as a creative, and you deal with these situations when you're in a toxic environment, creating might be difficult. And I feel like by you sharing your ways of getting out of their creative block might help others find other alternative ways to kind of think creatively.
I mean, I would say don't be afraid to kind of dig from real experiences. That's everything I create is based off of something that's either I'm going through, I've been through, or I want to go through, you know, or someone's experience in my life. Like I'll take, you know, little situations that my friends had, and I'll just create from it. You know, I take like exactly kind of how the pilot is of the therapy. Usually I just take a little topping and I'm just...
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, we can go too in depth about the story, but that story, basically all it was a 20-minute conversation, and you see I just spiderwebbed it. So that's kind of how I do all my creations. I kind of just I take one little thing and I'll just spiderweb it.
So in terms of the conversation, the first episode, what is it really in short, if you were to give a synopsis of what it is, and then we could actually talk around it without giving away anything? A
lot of the things to it. No, I mean, it's just real simple. I mean, it's an entanglement.
It's an entanglement episode.
It's definitely an entanglement. Very real life story. I feel like a lot of grown adults can look at that and can look at it and can see it's very, very relatable, all the different aspects, and the same exact thing even in writing that, I mean,
which is like what, but this is in a different perspective. I mean, is it so different? It's a guy.
It's not. Like I said, a lot of those different things I went through, if not some of my friends went through. You know what I'm saying? The miscarriage, probably gonna edit that, but I want to tell them that part of it, of the episode. But that part alone, right?
Yeah.
That main piece, I went through that. A lot of those different feelings. You just pull from yourself, and when you start as a creative and you start pulling from yourself, I think you know yourself best. We've all been through so many different things. Just keep pulling from that, or keep pulling from some of your friends' stories. And some people may say it's great, you're not supposed to, but I do it.
Do you ever see? Do you see me in my work?
What do you mean? Do I see you in your work?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but I do, but that's because I really, really know you. Not many people would the way you do it. Because I'd say you are like super, super creative with it. And there's certain things though where like I said, it's because I know you. Like Midnight Chaser, I could tell it's very, and there's even more than that, even through the photography, I could tell, the things you choose and whatnot. But I think all creatives and artists are like that. I think you start getting that block when maybe you're not really pulling from that, or when
I think you're on to something.
Nah, I mean, I think you're getting
on to something.
I think you're getting that block from when you're not pulling from something. Because I get the point. Sometimes you just want to be creative and just do something different. Sometimes you want to just do something completely different.
But you yourself is different. So to pull anything from yourself is automatically going to be different to the world.
Yeah.
So I think the creative block is trying to create a standard that everyone can agree to. I think that's where the block comes from, personally. Because when I do these shoots, I'm not trying to be in a magazine. I'm not trying to make it like look like it needs to be fashion and having the models like focus on the outfits, and you know what I'm saying, like that stuff doesn't entertain me. So my niche is doing portraits, and the eyes are the windows to the soul. So I like playing around with that. So I just create these weird characters that I pull from my head, because that's where they're really coming from. And I give them a visual presence, and I just add elements to them, and I add color and whatnot. So it's just like, if you were to see, if Tim Burton was like, if you pretty much, my inside my head looks like a colorful world of Tim Burton.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it looks like. So I have all these weird characters and crazy ideas, and then sometimes I find a model, and if we vibe, and I just like, all right, I'm gonna give you this character. Let's see what you could do.
That's the character you're gonna do. See, I try to add a little bit of everything to every character. And I've listened to a lot of other writers too, and some of them do that as well. Like there was one writer, he was like, he breaks down every character, and he was like, every character is really parts of me. And when he broke it down like that, I was like, wow, I could really see that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I do. I mean, when you try, let's just say you try to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say I tried tomorrow just painting, and I was just like, okay, I want to create a really, really dope painting. You may have a block because it's like you don't really paint before, and you don't, because you're
trying to paint like someone that you've seen,
someone else,
and you have that standard of like what it should look like. But in reality, if you just painted the picture on how you wanted to paint the picture,
or same thing, or pull from something like I said, I pull from topics and situations that happen in my life, or I pull from my wants, my beliefs. So it's just maybe like, okay, well, let me paint maybe something that I want, or a situation or something I like, a character I like. Like, you got to still pull from that thing, even though if you move on to a different creation. So, because I don't know why other creatives get that block. Maybe it's just where are you trying to pull from? Maybe some people are afraid to pull from certain places where they feel like it's too close to home.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think like that when I started. I was doing just regular portraits, and then I said, I'm just getting dark with it, because I started to meet people that were like-minded, and they said, yeah, let's do something like that. I'm like, what? That's cool. So then we, you know what I'm saying? If I pick up those vibes, it's going to end up happening where I get to go full Zain mode and then create these characters. And then other times you'll see me, I'll do a shoot and it'll just be a standard New York fashion like style, and I'll try to add my elements to it, but it's really like my stuff is mostly like that. That's what I would shoot all the time, but more so that. So it's really, this is first place, that's second place in terms of like the go-tos
for what you would create.
Yeah, I like to create like this dark, grungy science fiction fantasy world.
Yeah,
because
that's your vibe too, and that's the stuff you like. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm more like a realist and stuff like that. That's why I think that with the therapy project and those scripts, those are really interesting, because it's like that's the shit that I've always really wanted to create, to capture, like those real moments. You know what I mean? Like those real stuff. And then even with the podcast, it's the real things that we all go through, but we just sometimes don't talk about, or should be talking about more.
Yeah. So, I feel like the more we do, because film is another monster.
Yeah,
because you could create something like, you could make a small script. It could be a 2-minute, 3-minute thing, and a piece of your personality is in there, and then that's a whole other creative like process to like, as a piece, because you have to validate, like, is this actor really meeting the standards that's in my mind for this role? And then sometimes you have to let that character, that actor play that, like, give it life. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we want to control either too much or too little, and it's just like, where's the fine line in between? Do you find yourself critiquing your work in terms of like, I should have hit harder, or maybe I went a little too far in terms of developing like the actual story?
Developing like what, certain characters and
a story. Do you feel like you giving it your all, or do you feel like you're giving too much?
No, typically I feel like I do a fine line, and I like, sometimes I downplay it a little bit just so I could see what the actor or the person could portray, with it, and I like that twist. I like sometimes just to leave a couple dots. Like, I like to do the tracing and then have the rest fill it in to their own thing.
Okay.
And especially the people that we have around us too. Like, a lot of them I have a lot of confidence in. So like, I'll give a basis, and I'll be like, all right, well, you do your thing with it.
Yeah.
Zain as a cinematographer, be like, no. And as the editor, but
definitely no.
Sometimes it's like, we're all creators, so I want them to be able to put their sauce onto it as well. You know what I'm saying? Because we all go through a lot of the same shit. So if I'm giving you a role, I guarantee you probably can relate to it somehow. You know what I'm saying? And as long as they can put that twist on it, but I'm not so like, I don't feel like I underwrite or even overwrite. And that's even too with the whole editing thing, like, I don't really crazy edit the work. Whatever I usually put out typically is how I really want it to be, if that makes any sense. Because if I start going crazy with the editing and all that, it's just tearing up what you initially wanted.
How so?
Like, I think people just try to overly perfect their art, like with writing and whatnot, like going through all those different edits and all that. Like, you just got to write. And you just got to put it out, and if that's what you wanted, what I'm saying. Maybe obviously reread it and make sure it makes sense. But when you start like trying to edit it like 19 different times and send it over to different people, it's not your creation anymore. It's millions of other, whoever you send it to, it's their creation as well. So, but I don't think a lot of people are that confident to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they just wanted to get it so perfect, and it's like, yo, art and that shit, it's not perfect. it's never going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You just got to just get it out.
So how soon should someone like let it out? Like what's like, because I mean, what if it's like this, it just doesn't make sense?
I mean, you gotta obviously read your shit. If we're talking about writing, you gotta read your shit.
But that's the thing. Like, where do you draw the line? And like, all right, like what makes sense and what doesn't make sense? Hey,
sometimes, man, what makes sense to you, and if it's okay, like we were talking, there's some movies where it's like, not many people will get it, but that's what the creator wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? You'll watch a movie millions of times, and sometimes you just won't get it. And sometimes some people will. Sometimes you're not gonna please everybody.
No. You're not.
You know, you're never going to please everybody. So if you sit there and you try to do that shit, try to perfect things, it's like, man, like someone's not going to like it. Like we all know, like haters, they're going to be there regardless.
Yeah.
People are not going to get it because people are stupid. Some people, so.
Yeah, I mean, people are complaining about Inception when that came out, and they didn't understand that.
Yeah.
But that movie was brilliant.
You loved it, and we were talking about it the other day. I'm not too crazy about it. I feel like that one was a little over the top for me, but I'm not gonna say the movie's fucking stupid. I'm just gonna say for me, it was just a little over top. Like it was just a little too much. Like I loved shit like that. You know, yeah. Like I said, he was surprised
for
too.
A very long time, man.
Not even arguing. It was just funny. Like for me, it was a little over. Like I was there 70% in, and then the last little bit, I'm like, all right, man, like I'm tired, man. I'm going to bed. Even though I think I gave it like 3 shots.
3 shots?
I think I gave it like 3 shots, and I think because they go into like the universe like 9 times or some shit, and by like the 8th time, I'm like, all right, I'm like just too many universes, like this.
Nah, because they were going deeper and deeper within.
Yeah, it was just
the dream. Yeah,
and that's that's the concept of it. If I was the fucking if the person was like bring it to me to fucking as a final edit, I would be like, fam, tear half that shit up. Like go simpler. And it's like, nah, like people love that movie. You know, it's a fucking great movie. So it's like, you see, like sometimes what you create, man, it's just, you just gotta let it be.
You know what it was? It's also great. It's because it has longevity, because you're still to this day are gonna still try to decipher it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of movies that Nolan likes. It's not like a one and done. It's one of those things, those everlasting movies that you're like, yo, if I go back and watch this, I'm gonna find some new things. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the movie, when he spin the top, if the top fell, that's how you knew it was reality. You know what I'm saying? But if it kept on spinning, that means you weren't in your reality. And at the end of the movie, they fucked around with you, and he spun it, and it just never tipped over. But they cut it to black before you saw it wobbling slightly, and then they just cut it to black. So you don't even know. But obviously, the Nolan, he's like, yeah, it fell. It's good. Yeah. Yeah, because people were losing their mind. They were losing their mind.
Exactly. You never know, man. So when's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like your creation is never gonna be 100%, or it never gets like that. So I just be telling people, yo, just go with your gut.
Just go with your gut.
Go with your gut.
Now my question to you is, what's the current project that you're working on?
Current project, the major project. Obviously, we are together. Well, pretty much our project is Therapy Without a Degree, the TV show. So TV drama. Fuck power. All right, go watch yourself some Therapy Without a Degree. All right,
talk your shit.
Nah, but yeah, for real. What we're doing is we're taking the podcast, right? So if people don't know, Therapy Without a Degree is a podcast. We basically, it's me and this guy along with Tay and Natalie. And we cover different topics, real life topics. People submit topics. We look at memes and whatnot, or just our real life stuff, and we dissect them, give them, our advice, our perspective. Sometimes we do interviews on there as well too, right? So we've had 170 episodes so far, and we're gonna go all the way back to the very, very beginning and writing a script around every single story. So we just got done filming episode 0.
You think people are gonna catch on?
Catch on to what?
To the niche that you just created.
You think people are gonna get it? That it's,
and then what if somebody we're on like episode 8, and then somebody does like episode 9, and they listen to our podcast.
Oh, like they go back and listen till they know like what happens?
No, they just make their own.
That'd be fun.
I swear to God, if anybody tried it, I will.
Will they beat us to it?
I will Christopher Nolan the shit out of that. I will make them feel embarrassed they even tried.
Maybe they take our pod too and they use our topics for chapter 9, 10. What was your first episode, Ray? I wonder what your first number was. I think the first,
like 34,
something around there. I think the first one was.
So who's gonna play me?
Yeah, for your episode, yeah.
I want Will Smith to play me. I don't care how old he is.
You don't care?
I don't care. I want him to play me.
That would be technically like season 5, so I don't even know if we'll make it to there.
Huh? This is true. I could have Jaden.
You know what's funny is in like, if we had like if we go like really, really long, that would actually probably be like almost the last episode.
What, 100? What,
like 30, around 33. Because if we're doing about 9 to 10 episodes a season, or 8 episodes a season, depending on how many we exactly really do. That's depending on how long we go for. I mean, we could keep going.
That's third season.
It should be about third season, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. No, so yeah, yours coming up.
Third. We was like, yeah, we're done. We're done
at your episode. Right at your episode. That's it.
We're gonna skip some episodes, Joe, because we have some episodes that are pretty wild.
Nah, man, you got to do those. Got to do those.
That's some wild episodes.
I got one on polygamy. That one's gonna be nuts to write.
That was a good one.
That's gonna be chapter 11.
Polygamy.
Chapter 11 on polygamy.
I'm excited.
Maybe we'll put Ray in that one. He'll be an actor. Ray will have 2 wives. Don't get it. Don't joke right now, man. I'll get you in there.
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, that's what we're working on, man, and it's real cool to be working on that, to do the filming on there, the whole writing process, the casting. It's been fun, man, and it's cool. It's bringing me back to like a love that I always wanted to do as a kid. You know, I always wanted to do the film and all that shit. Like I said, I was like 10 years old in DeVries with a camcorder. We were filming, making Scream 4 and 5 and all that shit, and WWF and a bunch of shit. Blair Witch Project. We were.
So am I gonna see a wrestling movie in some time?
No, I'm not doing it. No.
No.
I never. Everyone in the complex, and everyone in DeVries always loved that wrestling shit. I didn't like it, but I filmed it.
I'm gonna make a wrestling movie. But it's gonna be Zainified. Clearly, it's not gonna be your typical. It's gonna have like, you know, supernatural science fiction elements. It's gonna be pretty much alien wrestling.
Yo, we had the bell. People were coming out of the stairs from the fucking basement and shit. Like, yo,
Joe, it sounds like you're thinking of ideas. It sounds like we're gonna get a wrestling
street wrestling.
Street wrestling, like the ring is on the street. Oh man.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh man.
Fighting 2.0. Like Channing Tatum fighting 2.0.
Oh yeah. Like you said, fighter.
Yeah, remember with Channing Tatum?
I don't even remember that movie as well as I should.
It was a great movie. Yeah, with Channing Tatum and Terrence Howard. So we'll do like the new version of that, but with wrestling and UFC.
But in the street.
In the streets. No.
It's gonna be like,
right.
It's like it's like Def Jam, that fighting game. Remember that?
Yeah. maybe. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
But now I do want to give Zain a shout out for, you know, inspiring me and getting me back into the mode, back into the grind. And I do want to tell a quick story on here, and it's kind of funny. It has to do with, you know, the film and all that. And I did a live the other day, and a lot of people were reacting pretty good with it. But I was like, wow, they announced Scream 5.
Yeah.
Y'all see that? You see that? They announced Scream 5? Yeah, so Scream 5's coming out 2022 or something.
Yeah, definitely 2022.
I think that's when it is coming out, right? But I was, like I said, I loved that movie as a kid, and that was one of the movies that me and my friends, we all dressed up and we would film and shit like that. And I wanted to do film, and I remember I would talk to my mom and I would be like, yo, you know, I want to do filmmaking and all that. And she was supportive. She was like, but she was very like a realist. And she was like, you know, well, we don't got the money for that shit. And you can maybe try to get loans and all that, but it's mad expensive, you know, and it's fucking not easy to get into. You know, you gotta really even know. So even if you go to school for it, you gotta know somebody to know somebody. That's how it was back in the late 90s and the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like, you almost didn't even think about it because it was like so far fetched. So she kept it real. And then obviously I was like, all right, well, you know, fuck it. I'm obviously not gonna do it. And then I just went, you know, obviously into the route I did. And then when Scream 5 came out, because they've been rumoring it for a while. So I've been looking at the cast and the crew and all that. And I was looking at the crew and I'm looking at the directors and I'm looking at the writers and I'm looking at their ages and I'm like, yo, they're like 30 years old, 28 years old, 32. And I was like, holy fucking shit. These guys are like our age. And I was like, yo, if I would have just went to fucking school and just did it as a fucking kid and just went with the gut and went with the idea, I could have been working on that film. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, like, and some people in the live were like, oh, does that make you upset? I'm like, no, it doesn't make me upset. It doesn't make me sad, nothing. It actually is just inspiring because it's like, wow, like, you know how many people right now are debating about something that they really want to do at 12, 11 years old. And it's like, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really going to look at it like, we would have never thought back then that I thought that movie was done. Done in 3 movies. That was it. It's a wrap. Never going to ever happen again. We're just kids fooling around. But just imagine. Would have stuck with it.
You probably would have been a filmmaker.
Exactly. Probably would have been doing it.
Yeah.
Because the way, social media, how it already, and it's just crazy. So it's like, wow, like, never hesitate on what you really want to do. You know what I'm saying? No matter how crazy it sounds. Because it sounded crazy at the time, it sounded nuts. It sounded like, all right, well, it's almost a dream because that's how filmmaking was back then. Anyone that's around our age can really testify to that. So that's why I was like, nah, like, if anyone out there like has an idea or some shit like that, just do it. Because you could be looking at yourself in 30 fucking 40 years and looking at someone doing what you wanted to do and be like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, thank God for me, my perspective, I went the other way with it, but that could have really fucking brought me down, depending if I wasn't like where my mindset was. I could,
It's not too late.
Exactly. Not yet, never is too late. So, coming soon. I'm not going to tell them what's coming up.
Man, I'm sure people can try to put the pieces of the puzzle, but they're not going to get this one.
Not going to get it.
Nah. But yeah, you were also on Amber. How was that feeling?
Yes, that was fun.
Everybody
man.
looking at you different.
Yes. It was funny because yesterday we had Val here, and then someone that's casting for acting for the show came by, and then he brought his kids, and then Val was like playing Amber for her guest. And he was like, yo, I want to see it too. And his kids were hearing shit. Yo, they watched the scene where at the ending, I want to say, if you didn't see Amber, go watch Amber. But they watched the ending, and the little kids are like, that's you. And I was like, yeah, that's me. It was pretty. But then at the end, because how the ending is, they were like, you're okay? You're good? I'm like, yeah, just a movie, man.
Fun story, because I'm going to say it. Homeboy had one job. You know what that job was?
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I said, Joe, when we do this scene, I need you to turn the knife on the dull side and put it on your throat, and I need you to pretend to slice. And Joe's like, yeah, got it. And I was like, all right, cool. So then after I filmed and after I edited, he's like, oh yeah, I don't know if you noticed, by the way, but the blade was actually flipped the other way. I was like, no, you didn't. So I go back.
He watches it.
And I watch it, and Joe almost died.
Nah, you gotta make it realistic, man. You gotta make it realistic. I was not about to be a punk and use the fucking dull side.
Yeah, he was using the real side. So,
how to use the real
so that
side,
would have been
man.
one real scene.
Imagine. Yo, I bet I've got a Grammy for that shit. You see? Fucking full send. Exactly, man. We gotta plug that in. You have to go 120, man. Because how would it have been? Like, you know how I am when it comes to us filming.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was like that. You gotta move it back. Like,
I'll actually watch the thing that you told me to watch. The Sanctuary.
You saw it.
It's out now.
I know, but you saw it.
I did see it. It's funny now.
Now
Now it's more funny.
See, I'm that guy who notices like when the cup is half full, half empty, all that shit. Like, that's why I got fucking drunk drinking that Corona during we were doing that. But I kept out to make sure it was at the same level.
I said, you could just, but right?
I was like, nah, bro, gotta be right.
Kept on sipping. I was like, I guess we got this scene, guys.
So, yeah, when we did Amber, man, I wasn't gonna tell him, but I was like, nah, I'm definitely using the sharp because if you're watching that shit and you see me use the dull, you'd be like, who slits their throat on the dull side? Gotta make it real, man.
Man, that was one hell of a scene. I'll tell you that.
And I really pressed that shit against me.
No, he did. It wasn't, and it was funny because then we had to do the makeup and we made blood from clay and like corn syrup and a little of chocolate syrup. I don't know.
Everything.
It looked like we're baking
everything
something.
in my cabinet we just pulled out, and we were just like, all right, let's make some blood. I think we used some wine. Everything.
Yeah,
man.
we used everything, and then it worked. I mean, in post, I made it look like what it was, but
we were doing that shit 3 o'clock. Yo, we finished that shit like 5:30 in the morning.
yeah, I was knocked out. It was fun though. I mean, everybody, remember it. When I remember one of my friends, he was looking at one of the actresses that played like the woman in there. And he was just like, "Wait, are you that girl from Amber?" It's like, "Oh, you look less creepy."
The other day, this guy had me play a manager.
Oh yeah, I'll be just throwing. Joe's gonna be like the Rob Snyder of like my films, like just gonna throw this anywhere. He's like, "You can do it."
I'm with it.
It's gonna be Joe.
It was just funny because Val was just like, because I've been her store manager before, so she's like, "Yo, that's not you." She's like, "You're nice."
It's like acting. Then wait until you see me acting.
I had to be a dick. Oh no, we got to do your scene like ASAP. Where's the cereal?
You don't got cereal in this goddamn house, Joe.
I got oatmeal. We'll use that.
I hate
It's
oatmeal.
not going to be up close. You just got to pretend.
I hate oatmeal. I like with a passion, Joe.
All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna get this guy. We're gonna get Ray in a couple films. So I definitely can see Ray acting. You could be sad. You can switch it up. Nah. Yo, that was scary when you used that app. You showed me that shit, or you put it on your Snapchat. I was dying. That shit was absolutely hilarious.
Listen, there's gonna be some roles, and I'm gonna just put it out there. And if you audition and you win. That's it. That's it. It's all game.
Word. Same thing with therapy, yo. We got a lot of roles coming up because it's anthology, too. So every episode is different. So that's a lot of fucking actors. That's a lot of roles.
Hey man, you got to do what you got to do. I have people in Lodi hitting me up and they say, "Yo, I would love to, be in a role."
Word. Shout out to Nick Mazzo. Nick Mazzo is gonna get in there too. He said he wants to act.
Word. Let's make it happen. That's it.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, we had a great episode of Coffee and Critique with Joe Salvatore Fucarino.
Hey, there he is. Coffee and Critique. This guy's a podcaster of 2 podcasts. Yo, he's a beast.
2 podcasts, like
2 podcasts.
twice a week, man.
Yes, he has 2 podcasts twice a week. He's a fucking beast.
That's great. And a magazine and film. Like, man, just
stop.
Just stop. Stop.
Word. We gotta get a Full Send Always podcast. When we getting that? Full Send everything. Look, come through, bro. Yeah, shout out to Ray, man. Full Send Always.
Let me watch this.
Word, of course. All right, people.
All right, that's my line, Joe.
I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go.
That's my line.
I'm letting you go. I stop.
Shout out Swagger Jack. Thank you for coming to the show. We appreciate you coming to Coffee and Critique and listening in.
They're not here. Well, oh no, Ray's here.
Ray's here. Now we gotta do it again. Thank you for coming to the podcast, Ray, and everybody for listening to Coffee and Critique podcast. We're here every Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm always be posting. This episode will be on soon. All right. So, yeah, I don't even know. I just say random stuff. I feel like somewhat like the lovely important nonsense at times, but it's just Coffee and Critique.
Yes.
So
He has all the different podcasts, all just in him.
Word. But also buy the merch on my website, IAMZAINSTUDIOS.com. I got merch on there. And shout out to Therapy Got a Degree.
Word.
Peace.